What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, February the 23rd. It's time for The Wire. We have moved on from the NFL season, but we are going to talk about DK Metcalf and some statements he made this week. We're going to talk about the Olympics. Of course, we got to touch on Black History Month since this is our last week of February, and so much more. The Wire starts right now.
I'm going in, it's first and 10. I'm a legend boy, a champion. They can't match the flows, the X's and O's. I'm breaking the code, devastation about to unfold. They calling me Derek by the way I roll. Bet you never ever seen a pro this cold. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I mix with I am Mike and the great Ali. I'ma run it back, believe me baby. I fathered the game, call me Daddy Brady. I'm like that, try be like this. Sammy Sosa, that boy don't miss. It's the return of the greatest. Any way you name it, I'm everybody's favorite. I'm bringing the pain and bringing the fire. Hey, stay tuned, it's going down to the wire.
All right. My favorite time of the week. Fellas, how are we doing?
Great. What's happening?
Good. Everybody else is quiet, so not doing so well. Or just ready to talk sports.
No, I mean it's hard sometimes because you talk about Black History Month and how it's the end of the month when we could be talking about this any time of the year, and I just
agree.
find it funny. The white guy says the last day we got to celebrate.
Man, I bet you glad, huh, Justin? Like, ooh, that's
Not at all. We
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
You know
wow,
what?
thank God there's only 28 days.
No. I've even
We got-
said statements in the past that it's shitty that that's the month that was chosen to commemorate. Whatever. We know what we can cover this every week. As a matter of fact, I'll make sure to put a point in there to keep this going all year long, like it should.
That doesn't mask the racism, Justin.
Oh man! Oh come on now. All right, let's move into the stories here. Okay. Firstly, I have a story here about DK Metcalf. Apparently, he has got his eyes set on the 2024 Olympics. It's a very interesting focus as far as I see, just because he's going to be spending his offseason recovering from a recent foot surgery. In the 2021 season, this was Metcalf's third season. He had 75 receptions, 967 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Now, Metcalf is a definite weapon in Seattle. But in the 2021 qualifier for Tokyo, he did finish 15 out of 17 in the qualifier for the 100-meter dash. His time was 10.37 seconds. Now, that is considered competitive in regards to the Olympics. However, the Olympic team standard is 10.05. So my first opening question, and we can throw it right over to Richie. Do you guys think that DK should be focused on the Olympics or more focused on his NFL career? Going for it.
Yeah, sure. So he was on my fantasy football team this year. And I drafted him. Second pick, I believe. Third pick, actually. Here's what I have to say. Focus on your future failure. Like, he might as well do the Olympics because the dude doesn't care enough about football. He's a very temperamental dude. And he's like, how do I want to say this? He's a more athletic Megatron. This dude is massive. This dude is fast as hell. But he doesn't have the hands. Like, he just doesn't catch the ball the same way. He could be a top 3 wide receiver, honestly. And what'd you say? He had 12 touchdowns? I think the dude scores, and he would probably have 20 if he could catch the damn ball. But it's clearly not, I've been watching him over the last couple of years. He's a freak of an athlete and easily has the best physical skill set. I don't think there's anybody, if you were to pick a wide receiver out of the lineup and be like, yeah, this dude could dog him. Nobody could. This guy's insane. He's so fast. He's so strong. He's so tall, and he's so huge. But I don't think he has the same capacity for his craft. He's extremely fit. Like I said, physically he's doing those things. But it to me, when you always have more than 15 drops per year, you would figure he'd focus on that part of his craft, and it clearly hasn't, gotten any better. So I think this is the apex of what he's going to be, which isn't marginal by any means, right? You're talking I think the dude's probably had like 10 touchdowns plus in the last 4 seasons consecutively. I mean, he's a great wide receiver, top 10 easily, but I think he could be like number 1 if he actually like put his brain to it. I just don't think he cares that much because he's always had this passion. We've talked about him doing this before because he did a qualifier and it was quite impressive that he was like, I don't know, 0.2 of a second behind the other guys. You know, it seems like he's almost kind of there, but to dedicate himself to that level, he would have to take a year off the NFL. So I don't know what his plans are. It's like in limbo. If he, you know, if anyone can do it, he's a physical enough freak that maybe he squeezes by while he's playing football, but I just don't see it. So I think he's going to kind of meander because of that. Like he could be a GOAT, but I don't think he's ever going to push himself there because he's also trying to run fast, and you can't really do both at the same time like that.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And Sahi, what do you think, man? DK looking at the Olympics, you know, given all the stuff that Richie said and the fact, you know, he is coming off of the surgery. What do you think he should do? Focus on the NFL, or do you think it's okay for him to be looking towards the next Olympics as well?
I don't think he should be looking towards the next Olympics and trying to compete. It's obvious what he was 15 out of 17. He's not going to contend for the gold medal. That's the only way you know what I'm saying? I would feel like that's worth getting in if he's going to place top 3 or something. Or, you know what I'm saying? He's got a chance to break records. He's not going to do any of that. So he should just stick to football and leave that spot for somebody who's working for it. It's kind of like that Tim Tebow situation, right? They brought him into camp as a tight end, and one of the arguments was he was taking the spot away from one of the young guys that was fighting so hard to get to the NFL, but because Urban Meyer wanted to have Tim Tebow in there, he brought him in there. It's kind of like the same thing. Just because he's DK Metcalf, he's going to get the shot. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a big story, and people are going to talk about it. But there's somebody else that deserves that chance. I feel like he reached the mountaintop in his profession. He should stick to football. It'd be different if he was going to Major League Baseball or the NBA or something like that, because those are other professional things. You don't get paid to perform in the Olympics. Am I right? No. So it's like an amateur thing. This dude's like a professional, you know, a professional athlete. You should focus things on being a professional athlete and doing professional things, you know? This just seems like a waste of time.
Richard, did you say, yeah, they do get some kind of pay?
They get some type of compensation. I think
it's very minimal. Very minimal.
It's very minimal. I think it's like $50,000, and that's basically just so they can survive and train, so they don't have to work. But they get most of their money off endorsements,
sponsorship, stuff like that.
Sponsorships and stuff like that.
Sponsors himself. Come on.
Right. Oh, we'll get to somebody who did that this year.
I have the number. Sorry, I have the numbers. If you get bronze, $15,000. If you get silver, 22.5, and if you get gold, 37.5. If you don't place, you get nothing.
Right, but I think they get for training. If they're on the Olympic team, I think they get money to train.
It's possible. I'm not seeing it. We'll have to. We'll do an update sometime.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. Trey, what do you think, man? Do you think DK should be focusing on football?
I do think you should focus on football. It's not like baseball or basketball or any one of those other sports where you could probably do both sports. I know some basketball players pitch. Track and field is something he'd have to solely dedicate himself to, because his body would actually change if he trained the way he needed to train for track. He'll never be fast enough to compete on that level while he plays football. That's just the way he trains for football is going to make him too bulky, and he's not going to be fast enough. 10-3, when you basically have to run sub 10 in order to win a place, really, nowadays. I think if he actually dedicated himself for a year, he might get down to a 10-1. And like he was talking about, he hasn't perfected his craft, the thing that actually pays him and his family. So I don't think he should do it. I think he needs to focus on catching the football. I need to focus on route running, and focus on preserving his body because he gets hurt too.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get into some more Olympic conversation here in just a little bit. But as February is running down, and we will be making sure that we make the point throughout the year. But I do want to talk about a story that I saw as I was looking through research today. This woman should be hailed as a sports legend in your book when you're looking at the legends of the various sports. In June of 1977, Lucia, I'm hoping I get that right, Harris became the first woman ever drafted by the NBA. Harris was 6'3", three-time collegiate national champion. She was at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. When she was told she had been drafted, she had already kind of reached the peak of women's basketball. And by that, I mean, the WNBA was not a thing yet. So really, her collegiate career was about as far as she could really take basketball at that time in America. She also had been recently engaged to the love of her life. And I did read a little bit that she actually thought that the offer that she got from the Jazz may have been a publicity stunt of some kind. But she did turn that down because she had already decided on starting a family, and did pass away actually this past, I think, January at the age of 66. There is an amazing documentary called The Queen of Basketball. I recommend taking a look at. I'm not sure exactly where to find that. I will double check that as the guys are rolling through.
You can look it up on YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah, I watched a good chunk of it today, and it was fantastic. I'm going to finish it out tonight. But guys, for her career, Harris had an unheard of 60% shooting average from the field. Can't read my own writing. By the time she left Delta State, she had given them 3 straight titles. She averaged 25.9 points and 14.4 rebounds. The team's record was 109-6 during her time there. She is still currently the school's all-time leader in scoring with 2,981 points, and rebounding. She had 1,662 rebounds. So, firstly, and we'll just keep it in that order. Richie, what do you make of Lucia's story?
I mean, it's kind of like what we were talking about the previous week, in the sense of sometimes you're just born ahead of your time and allowance, unfortunately, right? We talked about that with many Black athletes. I think this is kind of the same thing. I don't believe in intergender playing, to be honest. I think it would be absurd. She's a 6'3" woman. Unfortunately, the reality of that is not the same as a 6'3" man playing basketball anyway, maybe in other things, but not basketball specifically. I do think it's impressive that she had a 60% field goal percentage. I mean, that's pretty cool. But, overall, it's like, I think the only thing I can really say at this point is it's unfortunate there wasn't a league for her, like there is currently. But look at the talented women today. Nobody cares anyway. Let's be frank. Nobody watches. So I think, anything would realistically happen differently? No, other than possibly she'd be able to get compensated a little bit. And, who knows what would happen with that. But it's just sad when you think about how often we talk about these stories, and these stories exist and honestly will continue to exist, quite frankly. There's a lot of leagues that aren't competitive. And I think that's never going to change. And I don't think we're ever going to see progress in the next 100+ years on a lot of this. So it's cool she was so dominant, but it's unfortunate she didn't get to play anyone of her own caliber.
Absolutely. And we'll kind of dive into some of the conversation. This brings up several conversations we've had on the wire too. Some great points there. Sahi, what do you make of Lucia's story? I mean, the only woman drafted into the NBA, really because she had nowhere else to play.
Yeah, it's a great story, right? Like, I would love to see the competition she was playing at this school. It'd probably be pretty funny to just see that style of play from back then and how they just look so sorry. You know what I'm saying? Compared to basketball today, you said she was what 6'3". Ooh, that's a big old. She was probably, I don't know. I'm sure she wasn't dunking, but she was probably playing the post, just eating those girls down low, right? You know?
Yeah, extremely dominant. So, Richie, you brought it up, and you know we've asked this question before. There are in some sports. I know specifically we talked about this in regards to like Amanda Nunez. We talked. They compared somebody to LeBron James. I can't remember that conversation.
Sue Bird. It was disgusting.
Yeah, that was so I know what was said before, but for the listeners now, and maybe this changes the conversation a little. Should dominant women athletes have an opportunity to compete co-ed? And you know, because we've talked. Just a reminder, when we were talking to Amanda Nunez, the fact of the matter then was they couldn't find anybody for her to fight at the time. So it's like, could she drop and maybe go over to a weight class on the co-ed side? But what do you guys think? Or Trey, one, what do you think of Lucia and her story? And the follow-up question there to segue it on is, do you think that dominant women athletes should be afforded the opportunity to play co-ed in any sport?
For Lucia Harris, I thought that was, thank you for bringing that up as a topic. Just learning about it was pretty dope. And to segue into the conversation of co-ed sports, no. Women can coach. I don't have a problem with women coaching like basketball. They do some things with football. I have questions about the football coaching, but the basketball I think is a smooth transition. But actually playing 6'3" women playing against a 6'3" man in the game of professional basketball is going to be two completely different things. Just physicality wise, I'm pretty sure they could hold their own in some ways, but it would be just a domination. And I also don't think that that's a whole topic for a different day. I'll stay away from that. But yeah, I think that it's different.
Sahi, what do you think, man? Do you think that there's any sport where dominant female athletes should be able to compete? Go ahead.
Sports as we have them today, no. But Trey, you're completely wrong here, man. If you can have women and men play together and compete together against teams of other men and women, but you just have to make new games, new rules. You know what I'm saying? Say if it's basketball, things like you can't set picks, that's illegal. You just got to be position dependent, you know?
You can't set picks in basketball?
No, it's all got to be one-on-one. You got to have a female point guard, you know what I'm saying?
So what offense would you run?
It'd be 4-on-4, 2 girls, 2 guys. It's just one-on-one. Whoever's the best is the best. You know what I'm saying?
You sound like a football player.
That's how I'm just saying. I'm just throwing ideas out there. What you mean? I sound like a football player?
You sound like a football player.
See,
no picks.
Think out the box.
Never mind the fact that he was a football player.
I really was.
I know this.
The big burly girl on the line. I mean, who's to say she can't move bodies down there?
Put her against Aaron Donald, see what happens.
Put anybody against Aaron Donald.
Like your front four, like you can either have all women or all dudes, you know what I'm saying? And the other team's got to match. It's got to be all women offensive linemen, but your DBs could be dudes. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
And now, Richie, we have heard from you before on this, but the question stands that do you think that in any sport the co-ed should be afforded as an opportunity?
The answer is no, never. There's not a situation. The easiest way to describe, I ain't gonna be nice about this. I never have been. And it's like I'm the least sexist person you'll meet probably, but it's just reality. Karsten Brash played the Williams sisters. Everyone considers Serena the GOAT female athlete. GOAT alert. Please name one better. I refuse. Anyways, Serena, by far the goddess of female sports, played Karsten Brash. He was 203 in the world. She got bodied 6'0", 6'1". And then they changed their thing because first they said they could beat any man outside of the top 200. And then they're like, all right, top 350. And that's the point. When you have somebody who's that great. Now, she wasn't in her prime as later in life, but the point is there's a physical difference. They've done this before in tennis a billion times. I'm not going to go over it, but they always try to make it more balanced. They make the court for the men bigger so the women had more range to try to, win basically. And it never mattered, and it never will matter. And I'm not trying to be rude. It's just reality. We're a little stronger. We're a little faster. It's just physically we have different advantages. So to Sahi's point, if you go code, gender, and you try to mix it, then you have to create rules that would allow for the physical advantages of the men to be canceled out in some way. But as I just mentioned, at least in tennis, they've tried that and that didn't even work. So I don't see how it works unless it's like cooperative. Like you play doubles tennis, one's a man, one's a woman. Fine. They've done that. That works. But it can't just be women playing against men in any capacity and competing. Maybe some swimmer out there is going to tell me how I'm so wrong about this for swimming. I mean, that's completely possible. But I'm only thinking from individual sports and combat sports, and I don't see where it happens. The women, like we talk about this with the women's soccer team and the men's soccer team. The women's soccer team's better, and in their sport they're better. But if they played the men, they get bodied, they get crushed. And this is never going to change. I'm never going to be nice about it. It is what it is. But that doesn't mean women's sports shouldn't be watched. That doesn't mean those types of things by any means. They should be getting better marketing. They should be getting paid better. But they're not equal physically, and that's why the sports will always be different. So, like, the reality is if you want to make the sport watchable or more watchable or draw a bigger audience, it's not just marketing. You have to have different rules, a different type of game. It can't ever be the same thing where athleticism plays a factor because people aren't going to watch. And we've seen that in every single sport. It has nothing to do with men or women not wanting to watch. It's just that you see one thing and you see somebody else and they can't do it at the same level. It's just not as entertaining for you once you've experienced like the higher level. This is going to come off really mean. That's kind of like saying, like, I watch Elvis Presley and then I watched an Elvis Presley impersonator. Like, you ain't ever going to watch the Elvis Presley impersonator. You're going to stick to Elvis Presley. It is what it is, and that's unfortunate about sports, but, I'll tell you what, people watch women's tennis, people watch women's golf. They just don't watch basketball.
Just whatever you do, don't get married by an Elvis Presley impersonator.
Unless you're into that.
Yeah, I mean, unless that's your thing. And then please write in and show some pictures because it's going to be one heck of a wedding. Okay, so folks, we want to know what you think on this topic. Obviously, this one can go controversial, and we're cool with that. Let us know in the comments what your opinions and your thoughts on whether or not there should be an opportunity for co-ed play in any professional sports. Guys, before we go to the break, I didn't really write a story on it because we've tried this in the past and there wasn't a whole lot of talk, but we did just have the All-Star Weekend and Celebrity Game and all of that with the NBA. Is anything stand out, Sahi, anything stand out about the weekend for you individually?
Yeah, there was a lot that stood out to me. But the biggest thing that stood out was it was just so glaring and obvious and like in your face about how uninteresting it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kept forgetting that it was on. There wasn't nothing that was like, oh man, I need to watch this. The Celebrity Game, I kind of wanted to watch it, but I ended up just watching the highlights. And it was kind of good, cool. It was like kind of a blowout game really the whole time. The dunk contest, trash. I knew that was going to be trash. And when people was posting on Facebook and Instagram about it, I'm like, y'all act like y'all didn't know it was about to be trash. I'm sad. I'm sad that I missed the 3-point contest. That's the only thing in the All-Star Weekend that's like tried and true, 3-point contest. It's kind of exciting to see who's going to hit the most. And Karl Anthony Towns winning. Who would have thought that, right? Freaking crazy. And LeBron James hitting the game winner. That was kind of cool. But they go to like a point system, which I guess is cool, 163 points. But to get that, there's no defense played. And it's just like, why are we here? Kind of like the Pro Bowl situation. It's just like, who?
Trey, anything that you wanted to comment on regarding the All-Star weekend?
Steph Curry is a rocket launcher. Steph Curry is a rocket launcher. That was a crazy display of three-point shooting. But I will say, I did a turnaround trip to California, basically. And I pulled off in Barstow just so I could see the three-point contest. And it stretched my leg. And I missed the dinner date with my girl. So so that was that story. But I thought the three-point contest was nice.
So what you're saying, this is the apology to him.
Yeah. Yeah. It set me back like an hour, basically. But no, I thought the Cat winning three-point contest and Steph Curry going off was some big highlights for the night.
Richie, any big standouts to you? Is Sahi got it the nail on the head? Is this becoming just kind of a publicity stunt for more money for the NBA?
I mean, I want to go off of a point Sahi made. I don't even know why they have a dunk contest anymore. Honestly, Jalen Green, he looked like those dudes in Squid Games because it was like your next task is complete a dunk, and this dude could not dunk. I think he was shooting 30% from the floor in the dunk contest. It was one of the worst dunk contests I've ever seen. Y'all can just look at social media. They were getting roasted. It was disappointing. You know, when I think like, and I agree with Sahi and Trey, when I think of like All-Star Weekend now, it's just three-point contest, which is pathetic. Like I'm being serious on that. Pathetic. When you really think about that, who just wants to see a dude shoot over and over? That sounds boring as hell compared to who wants to see a dude dunk. But at this point, like every year watching the three-point contest, you know, there's some like mystique to it. And oh man, like look, Cat went crazy this year. And it's like usually close and competitive. And most dunk contests, like one of the problems is we've seen so many dunks, like it's hard to come up with anything new. So that's the first problem. So then these guys are trying to come up with this crazy stuff and they can't get it and they keep missing. And when you see a missed dunk, like, how do I want to say this? They give them opportunities. They can miss the dunk and they get like another chance and they get one more chance, right? They get 3 tries. Like, no tries. If you miss, that's your score and you move on with life. Like, they got to start going back to fundamentals so we don't see like 10 minutes of like the dude gets winded because he's missing the dunk but then not actually dunking, so it doesn't count against him, so he can try again. Like this is pathetic. You know, I was with my fiance who doesn't really watch basketball, like, you know, doesn't see any of this stuff. And I told her the dunk contest is usually the coolest thing. And she like got up after about 3 minutes. She didn't understand, like she thought it would actually be like people doing stuff, but it was just, we watched Jalen Green miss over and over and over. So I don't know. I feel like they got to X this thing, you know, because another problem with the dunk contest, to go on this tangent, is there are no more superstars doing it. That's the biggest problem, right? Like ever since Braun was a little puss, and I'm gonna say that like right now, fucking Marvin would kill me, but it's facts. He's a puss. He wouldn't do it. Little pussy.
I don't think it has to be superstars though, because when Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon,
I'm with you. Aaron Gordon got robbed. Let's keep it real.
He got robbed, but let's say we're talking about stars. They don't have to be stars. They just gotta be good dunkers.
No, I agree with you, but go ahead.
And we gotta say, I think Steph Curry changed the narrative for the three-point shot. So that's why it's so exciting.
I mean,
like, since Steph Curry has entered the league, I mean, honestly, now the crazy shot. Steph Curry during the All-Star game at one point was 15 for 21 from 3. That's insane.
I mean, it is, but it isn't, because nobody's playing defense on him. That dude can do like 99 out of 100 if nobody's guarding him, like Sahi was talking about. But no, I feel you, Trey, but like, and I agree, it's get the best dunkers there. But my point is people used to want to do the dunk contest. Now nobody cares. When Karl Anthony Towns is like, I'd rather take a 3-pointer than do the dunk contest, you know the dunk contest is booty. And that's the problem. They need to figure out a way to incentivize it, because the reality of this, regardless, and I agree with you, Trey, but the reality is this: the dunk contest was the most memorable thing about the All-Star game. Dr. J, Michael Jordan, etc. You know, we saw Vince Carter, all those things. We saw these crazy moments. People used to go crazy. Dwight Howard, and he brought the theatrics, and then that started being a thing. And now nobody cares about it. All the athletes and the stars don't want to do it. And all the big dunker, like they saw how they did Aaron Gordon wrong. So no good dunker even wants to bother, because what's the point? Because sometimes you're just going to get dogged by the judges. So it's disappointing. Whereas the 3-point contest, you can't get screwed. So yeah, like it's a completely different thing now. So yeah, I hate this whole thing. I hope they take the 3-point contest out. I think they got rid of the little skill challenge bullshit. If they did have it, I didn't see it this year. And the dunk contest sucks. They just need to stop doing it all. They don't even need to play the All-Star game. They just give them a paycheck. I don't want to see people not play defense. It's pointless. But actually, LeBron getting the winner, fine. That was cool.
I think Giannis Antetokounmpo was in the skills challenge this year.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so there was a skills. Like that challenge don't even make no sense to me. It's just like the most basic stuff: dribble, pass, shoot a free throw. Come on, man, get out of here.
The All-Star game should be a 21 competition.
Oh yeah, I like that.
If you know what I'm saying, play 21, play 50, play horse. You know what I'm saying?
Knockout.
If you were a top 5 All-Star, all right, well, top 10, 4 of the top 10 have to be in the dunk contest. I don't care if you pull straws, you know what I'm saying, put names in the hat and draw them out, but the stars have to be in the dunk contest. That's a pillar of the NBA. That's what made the game so popular.
Fan vote. Don't even give them a choice. Whoever gets voted.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got to get in this dunk contest, man. Nobody wants to see Jalen Green and Pat Stojakovic, dudes they don't even know. Come on, man.
Is that a real person?
No,
I want to see Morant.
I mean, it could have been. I fell asleep.
All right, folks. Well, let us know what you think needs to happen with the All-Star weekend and any memorable moments that you saw. When we come back, we're going to dive into the Olympics a little bit before we send this puppy on for the week. You're watching and listening to The Wire. We'll be right back.
You know, theater, film, acting, it's very collaborative. So these people that you're showing up with, be respectful, be collaborative, be open. You know, of course there are sabotages, I guess, but like at the end of the day, if you and your partner go in there for a read, you both want to look good. You know, you want to make the other person look good because they're going to make you look good.
Absolutely. And it's always important, I think, to support also. If it's in an environment, probably specifically speaking to like community theater, maybe college,
sure,
where there's applause after each read,
sure,
be a part of that. And when they go on a break, make sure it's important to network with the other actors, with the other, because the more you network, the more people get to see you and your abilities, the more of a product you are for future endeavors, you know.
Okay, welcome back, folks. That's right. This is the Wire Sports Podcast here on the newly and currently in development H2G Radio. Do check out the Andrew and Justin's Actors Breakdown. We've got a true crime podcast. Well, I should say true crime, mystery, and unsolved mystery podcast on the way, and a couple of other podcasts already in the works. And if you're interested in getting involved with H2G Radio, we will be a podcast radio network, just to give people the opportunity to do this, because we love doing it. We've done it for almost 2 years now, and it's a great time. And you know, for those of us that are still kind of in lockdown working from home, it's a great thing to do. So anyway, let's get back into sports, shall we? Because it is the Wire Sports Podcast. We don't usually get too into the Olympics just because there's so much to cover if we were to cover it, you know, play by play, sport by sport. So we usually do this kind of breakdown thing. But I thought this was kind of interesting because we were talking about this is the only time that we're going to have the Summer Olympics back to back with the Winter Olympics, right? Because of COVID and everything that happened. But we talked about how basketball didn't seem like it was being taken very seriously. And I was looking at the standings. I want to see, how did the United States do? We finished the 2022 Winter Olympic Games in Beijing in 4th place. We had 8 gold medals, 10 silver, and 7 bronze. We were behind, and I believe this is in order, Norway, Germany, and China. So, we did talk about basketball team, we didn't feel, I think the general consensus is we didn't feel like it represented the best basketball players in America. Do you guys think that, as a whole, as a country, we should have a stronger presence in athletics at the Olympics? I know that's a wide and broad question, so feel free to narrow it down anywhere you want. Let's kick it off with Trey.
I'm gonna be very direct with this. From my previous rants on The Wire, a lot of them have to do with the Olympics. I do have some issues that's from here and there for Olympics, but when it comes to like group effort and the Olympic sports being one of those, and the Pan American, all of them, we need to exert pure dominance over everyone. And that's how I feel about it. I don't know what it is about the Olympics, so whatever issues we have as Americans, go out the window, and I don't even have to pay attention. But when I look at the stat sheet and we are not exerting dominance over the rest of the world in these games, I have an issue. We need to get back to the drawing board. 4th place ain't gonna cut it. 8 goals. How many were available? We need at least half of them. That's how we do. That's just how I feel about it.
Sorry, I was pulling that up. So just to clarify before we bounce around over here to Sahi, we had 8 gold, China had 9, and they were in 3rd. Germany finished in 2nd with 12, and Norway had 16. Those are gold medals only. Total medals, United States had 25, China 15, Germany had 27, and Norway had 37. So,
I think we need to come up with a curling team because I think we'd be good at it. We can all do curling. We need to get a curling team together. We're going to the Olympics.
I do sweep the kitchen in record time just about every day, just because I need to get it done. So you can put me on the sweeping. I don't know if I can stand upright on ice though. That's the problem.
We can learn. We got to train. We'll get paid our little 15 grand. We'll meet up in Colorado.
We have to win gold, though, because if we win gold, I'm still taking a large pay cut on the year that it's going to take for me to train. Sahi,
a gold medalist.
Sahi, do you think we need to have a stronger presence in the Olympics?
I think we should, but I mean, who cares what I think if we should or not? Will we? Is the actual question, right? Like, and no, we won't. It's only going to get worse from here. The younger generation, they don't give a damn about the Olympics. They don't care about competing in the Olympics. They just want to get on TikTok and do their little challenges and all that other bull crap. Watch Bel Air, which sucks, by the way. But I'm not going to get too far into that. But it's just the way the culture is going and where we're going as a society. I feel like other countries, like, what do you say, China, Norway, and Germany?
That was the top 3, yeah.
Yeah, aren't they like communist countries? I don't think Norway, but aren't they like?
I don't know a whole lot about Norway.
Yeah, just say
that. Aren't they like ruled with an iron fist? Like the people that they have in the Olympics, they have to do that in order to survive. You know what I'm saying? They need to come back with the gold medal, or it's like, yeah, when they get back. You know what I'm saying? So
Sahi, you gotta forgive Germany. 43 was some years ago. It's not a good joke. Richie,
I'm joking, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Richie, do you think that Sahi's kind of got a point there? Because in the past, our display in the Olympics has had a lot to do with politics. Even, I mean, we look into the Miracle Hockey game, that was huge. Do you think that we've kind of moved our focus elsewhere? Do you think that we need a stronger focus on the Olympics and to be better than 4th place overall?
I mean, the answer is no. I disagree. Like, I don't want to say this. First of all, let's look at who won and who did better than the United States. We know Norway. You told me, I think it was Germany 2nd, China 3rd. All those places have worse winters than we do. All right, they're just better in the winter. It is what it is. And honestly, even if you look at the Summer Olympics, like, it's kind of funny. I've been watching it over the years, and I have no stakes in this. I'm not a super American nationalist. I really don't give a flying shit about this stuff. But what I do look at is statistics, and I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching people get salty about this stuff. I find it funny. When I was growing up, the United States was very dominant in the Summer Olympics specifically, and they would win golds the most. Well, we no longer tend to have the most golds. So then we had the most medals. We had the most medals this year. So it's always funny how willing our mediocrity, we're willing to keep moving the goalposts so we still sound the best. And it is what it is. When you look at like Russia and China, who are the two, as Sahi basically implied, communist fight for their life countries, they've only done like 10 games apiece, but they're basically like 4 and 5 or something. Or maybe even like 2 and 4 or something. I don't remember the exact numbers here. But my point is they barely competed, and they're already like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, something like that. And they barely competed compared to every other country. So yes, the United States has dominated historically, yada, yada, yada. But if you looked over the last 50 years, it's starting to go the other direction. And why is that? Because there's more people over there. Like, we're a melting pot, right? And that's what we always sell ourselves on. Oh, well, we got like white people, black people, Asian people. Hispanics, we should win everything. But the reality is, like, none of us have a reason to bond like that because we get treated like shit, in the United States. So it is what it is. And quite frankly, like, I hate to bring race into this, but if I'm a black dude who's athletic, I'm gonna focus on football or basketball. I'm gonna try to make me some goddamn money. We just talked about it. They get 40 grand for this medal. Why the fuck would I care about that? I'm trying to make some money. That's just me. If I was athletic, and I'm not athletic, obviously, so I ain't athletic. If I was athletic, I wouldn't be worried about no 45 chips. I'd be trying to get millions, and this isn't gonna do it. So, it is what it is. We always do well, and we did do well. 4th in the entire world is not bad, And I think, well, to someone it's horrible, but here's my thing. We send in professional athletes in amateur type things, right? We started like, all right, you know what? We lost, so fuck that. Get Jordan on the phone. Like, get all these motherfuckers. We're gonna dunk on their asses. Like, get the fuck out of here. This is supposed to be amateurs competing. And then we started bringing in the pros, and now we salty that the other like foreigners bringing their pros, beating our pros. It is what it is. Sometimes you're not going to be the best at everything. The Russian white dudes that wrestle usually win. That's totally fine. We can't win everything. And you know what? Black people don't really like hockey and winter sports. That's why we're not first. It's that simple. Look at the Summer Olympics. We always do better. The bottom line is, who cares? It's the Olympics. I don't give a fuck. They don't get paid enough. You want us to win more? Give them more money. Bruh. Winter Olympics? No, I'm serious. I'm not trying to be salty here. Is there a black athlete that's like a famous Winter Olympian? Because I don't know. I'm pretty good with sports. I don't know. We're about to talk about a Winter Olympian, and he's whiter than Justin. So
Jamal Tidwell. Look him up.
Who's that motherfucker?
Just Google that site.
Who is
Jamal Tidwell.
Let me apologize to Jamal Tidwell. Who you
Googling him now.
Googling him well.
Trey got super hype at the thought of Michael Jordan coming out of retirement.
He ain't nobody.
Hey, that's right. You pay him, and you get the professionals in them Olympic and them amateur athletes, and you just dunk on them.
You dunk on them, motherfucker.
You know what? I want Aaron Donald
Exert the
playing curling.
Yeah.
LeBron James needs to get his figure skates on right now.
Bring the roids back. Whatever we got to do, right, Trey? Let's
Do
get
it.
our gold
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely. There's 120 medals. 60 of them need to be gold for America.
USA. All right.
Absolutely.
Some really good points that we should open up there. I mean, one, and this is probably taking me out of the unbiased host chair, but like, it is so American, right? Because look at all the wars that we've been in. We're only wars because we quote unquote won them, but all the conflicts are the ones we lost, like the Vietnam conflict. So of course we're like, well, we got close to the most medals. But also another good point that Richie made there, China, they competed, they had 15 medals, 9 of them were gold, 4 silver and and 2 bronze. I'm
That's the
pissed
type
about
of dominance I want to exert on everyone. China has it right. Richie just gave all of what we need to be doing to make sure that we have this level of dominance. And
Yeah,
I agree with
we got
him
the money.
wholeheartedly.
We got the money. Shell it. Give these people a reason to care, because it's not about nationalism anymore. Nobody like in the 60s and the 70s it was. We're in 2020. A 15-year-old can review kids' toys and make $3 million a year. Why on earth would I try to like sweat tears 10 years of my life to make $80,000? Get out of here. What is going on? Nobody cares.
Which, of course, shout out to Ryan. If you'd like to partner up with H2G Radio, we'd be happy to have you on.
I know some great Mattel toys, okay? I'm absolutely willing to collab. DM me.
Anything else on our level of dominance in the Winter Olympics?
You know what would be a good Olympic sport?
What's that?
What's that?
Field goal kicking.
Would that be a summer sport? Field goal
It could be
kicking
I
winter,
mean,
too.
in
It could
Lambeau
be
Field
winter,
would be a
too.
winner. Hey, field goal kicking in
Yeah.
Lambeau, that's a winter Olympic.
Well, I mean, they got to have it wherever the Olympics are at, Justin. They just can't.
you can't
the
put it in
Olympics
Lambo.
in
Well,
Beijing,
can
but
you
we're
even-
gonna do football kicking in Lambeau?
How do you
You might
train
go
to kick a field
down.
goal in Beijing?
Put
That's a whole
up
different
some
climate.
goalposts somewhere.
pressure.
Yeah, just 2
Exactly.
trees. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
It's not
just
that
put up
hard.
some goalposts somewhere.
in
Have a
Beijing.
little field,
Yeah, in
like
Beijing.
like an 80-yard field.
Justin wants to annex to the Olympics to be in Green Bay every year.
I mean, for real. If it was in Beijing, they'd have soldiers pointing guns, and if they miss the field goal, they shoot them.
Shoot 'em.
You will have the best field goal kickers in China. It'll happen.
Oh,
Absolutely.
my
Yeah,
God.
they're not motivated by money. They're just playing because they absolutely
No,
have
that's
to.
the difference. Yeah, what Tiny said is so true. That's nationalistic at its pride. It's like you either
Right.
get a gold or you getting killed. Like that's how
Yeah,
they
you
do
out of
it.
here.
And you see the exertion
God.
dominance. Let's get it.
I mean, Russia dominated the Olympics for years that way. So maybe we
And
can
they
Yeah,
doped
that's
up
what I'm saying.
everybody.
and they killed a lot of would have been Olympians. So
Exert the dominance. I want to see the W's.
let's get into maybe a little lighthearted. I don't know. Everybody's kind of on a feisty chair today, so this may turn bad. But Shaun White, age 35, has now officially announced his retirement from, I gotta clarify because I almost got this wrong writing the story, snowboard competition. He does plan to have quite a bit of involvement in the sport still. He did just recently launch his line of snowboards, which was pretty cool. I couldn't find to confirm this. He's at least one of the first, if not the first, to ride his own brand of snowboard in the Olympics. Kind of a cool fact. He's got a multitude of X Game victories. He's got a total of 3 Olympic gold medals, which makes him the most decorated Olympic snowboarder ever. He did, like America, place 4th place in this year's games. And he did ride his own line of board in the competition, like I said. What do you guys make of Shaun White's decision to end his career after 35 years? At the age of 35, I don't know if he's been snowboarding the whole time. Do you think? I don't know a lot about snowboarding. Is that like premature? Whoever wants to start us off.
I mean, I think he's given a lot to the sport itself, and he's done a lot for the extreme sporting world. If he's ready to give it up after at least 20 years, he's been riding in the sport professionally, I would say. Why not?
17.
I mean, yeah, or so. Yeah, I mean, he's made a grip of money snowboarding. He's good. I mean, I think he's ready to just move on with his career. He can't be the face of this sport for. I mean, even Tony Hawk had to leave, walk away from the board. You know what I mean? So, good for him.
Tony Hawk kind of did. I'm half expecting to see him drop into the next games here soon. Sahi, what do you think, man? Shaun White, is this too early for him to be calling it quits?
You know, a wise, famous, very rich man once said, "The sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together." You know, Shaun White, he had an amazing career, a long time. And it's over. He's one of the first snowboarders I ever heard of. He was phenomenal out there. Although I didn't watch a whole lot of the tape. I didn't really get a deep dive into his career, but I know he had a video game out, right? He was like on the cover of Wheaties, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure he made a Wheaties somewhere.
Yeah, he had to make a Wheaties at some point. He's got gold medals. He's got big fat checks. He's probably got a lot of hot women after him. So, you know what I'm saying? It's time to hang it up. What more could you want? You got a career like snowboarding? Like, come on now.
Incredibly entertaining TikTok channel.
Incredibly entertaining TikTok. How did I forget to mention that? What a guy. He's probably got great stories. Hopefully he comes on the wire for an interview with us one time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool.
And Sean White, hit us up.
For sure. Anybody that we talked about, even when we talk bad about you, it's China and Russia, maybe not. I don't know. Richie, we don't want
Get all of China in here.
I definitely talked to China and Russia. Yes.
Richie, are you a fan of snowboarding?
Am I a fan of? No, not at all.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if we had any actual like snowboarding fans on here. What do you make of Shaun White calling it quits at 35?
I mean, I feel like that's too young, personally. You know, I know these guys are being a lot more nice about it. He's 35. He's been fourth place twice. He's supposed to be the GOAT, and he can't even win every Olympic. He's no Michael Phelps, let's put it that way. Kelly Slater was surfing in till recently, I think you told us, right? Till he's 50. This guy's 35. What a bum. Get out of here, dude. You got at least one more Olympics in you. You could be 39 and do this shit one more again. Run it back, bro. This is embarrassing. You didn't even medal in your final Olympics? Come on, and you're the best snowboarder ever, and you can't even medal? You think he's the exact reason Trey's pissed off, right? How you the greatest snowboarder, and this motherfucker can't even get a bronze? Not that we want a bronze, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll say this. I know this dude was like innovative in the sense of he kind of brought snowboarding onto the map. Because I remember, you know, he's basically my age. So I remember watching him. He was 18, 19. And he was cracking me up. His interviews were hilarious because he'd be like hella baked and drunk. And he'd always say stupid shit and be like, oops, you know, kind of realize like he's drunk. He's 19 years old on TV. So I always enjoyed him. And I'm sure as a person, he's great. And, you know, obviously he is dominant. But, you know, in all seriousness, man, like I'm just surprised at like how talented he is and how good he is that he didn't medal and he's cool retiring like that. That kind of surprised me. I was a little surprised to hear that he's hanging up the boots or whatever the fuck they're called in snowboarding. I don't know if they're boots.
Yeah,
Oops.
I think
How does that work?
I think they're boots.
Okay.
He's hopping off the board.
He's hopping off the board with the boots.
I'm trying to pull up the main question here. This
Boots and board.
I will say they have to do some crazy stuff. And when I wake up at 35, there's some days where my legs don't work. So I mean,
Cut him a break, Richie.
Nah, he ain't getting no break.
Yeah, Richie is on one.
For an X
bruh.
Games Olympiad, I mean, they only get 40 grand for a gold medal. Is 60 million a lot? And that's his net worth right now. 60 million.
See, he should be worth more than that. That's absurd to me. What we're talking about? He's worth 60 million, and Jimmy Garoppolo has over 200 million. He's the greatest snowboarder of all time, and he's worth 60. This is exactly why Olympians don't give a fuck in the United States anymore. Sorry.
And you got to say, most of his money is probably from endorsements. He's
It's
not
from
making
endorsement.
Like, it's all endorsements.
It's from Mountain Dew.
How much do they actually make winning the X Games? Like, what is that? How much do they actually make winning?
Probably $7,000, Trey.
So it's all endorsements. They're not really pulling in that much money.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the reason I looked up net worth right away is, you know, he made a pretty big deal about publicizing that he was coming out on his board, that his brand is now released, the new snowboard's been developed. Maybe he's just trying to sit back and make the money on everybody else riding the Shaun White brand. You get $50,000 for top prize at the X Games. Wow. So extreme
much do
sports
they make
not
for
the way to go.
viewing
If
it?
you want to be rich.
You make more winning the
Have a
X
lot of
Games
fun,
than you
though.
do getting a gold medal in the fucking Olympics. This is exactly why nobody gives a fuck about the Olympics, dude. That's embarrassing.
Whoa.
That you get more for the X Games than you get for the Olympics. What the fuck is this? Pardon my language, everybody. I'm just shocked.
Everybody loves the Olympics. What are you talking about?
Bro, I haven't
Nobody
watched the
cares.
Olympics in 10 years. I don't
That's
care anymore.
crazy.
I used to love it. And then one day I woke up and I was like, I could just sleep through this. What does it matter? Nothing changes. We started losing and I stopped caring. And I just accepted that, you know, it's kind of like the GDP. Someday we will not be the biggest like world economic powerhouse. And when that happens, I too will start sleeping on the GDP. You know, I'm an American. If I'm not first, I don't care anymore. And that's exactly what the Olympics are at this point.
Except for to Trey, if we're not first, we need to start threatening death upon those.
Yeah, Trey's going the other round.
Yeah, listen, that's the thing about being a superpower. Like, you can't be a superpower and y'all losing all the time. Like, we can't. That's not how we operate. We control everybody else. That's not.
I mean, maybe this is a depiction. Maybe we are fourth in the world. No, that's starting a whole other conversation.
Yeah, let's say. Let's go back to the
I just say,
Olympics and Shaun White.
yeah.
Shaun White.
There's a
So
show
he's
called
35.
Newsweek. Listen to that first monologue. It's eye opening.
Right. So Shaun White. Either way you cut it, he did have an incredible 20-year career in the sport. Anybody surprised on the other end of things is surprised that you can have 20 years in a sport that is that. I know that's not physical in the way you know, NFL and things like that is, but it's quite physical. You are launching yourself down a mountain. Granted, he did half pipe competitively more than he did any like of the what do they call that, moguls and all of that, but freestyle. Yeah, I mean, to me, skiing and snowboarding is a death wish. It's very extreme in my opinion. I've skied, I've had fun on the bunny hill, but I take a big look at the size of the mountain and all of the things that could kill me on the way down, and I'm cool. Anybody surprised that on the other end that he made it 20 years with a pretty successful career?
I'm not surprised. I mean,
I'm surprised he's still walking after 20 years of snowboarding.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a lot of impact on the knees.
Yeah. If he's doing half pipe all fucking day. But I don't know what he does on a day-to-day basis. Maybe this asshole only does it once a year. Who knows?
Because he did. Remember, he skated too in the X Games.
No, he did. He
was on the
skated.
skateboard.
No, for sure. But that's my point. I think he skates more than he snowboards. Like, how the fuck do you practice snowboarding half pipe every single? Like, you can't do that. So he does like skateboarding too. You know, I think this asshole just doesn't have competition, so he just wins every time. That's the only reason I can explain for him getting fourth and retiring, because he's just like, you know what, ain't worth it. It ain't worth falling on my knees in the snow. Even though, you know what's funny? Snow, side tangent, snow looks like it wouldn't hurt that much, but when you fucking biff it, that shit hurts. So I do agree. This dude's taking some punishment, I'm sure, for sure.
And I read this year that it was like 90% non-authentic snow, so like man-created or machine-created snow, which supposedly packs harder and is not quite as conducive to sporting. I don't know a lot about snow sports. So I was going to ask if Shaun White's the GOAT. We don't have to get into all that, folks. Let us know in the comments below if you think Shaun White's the GOAT. We will be getting into probably heavy basketball going forward. If there's anything else you'd like for us to discuss here on The Wire, please let us know. And it is going to be, I think, something I'm going to try to do going forward. Just athletes in general. I think we should pay homage to somebody every single week. And I think that's going to be something that we can do going forward. Any final statements, guys, on this week's content? I'm almost afraid to ask.
I'm good, man. I feel good about what we got going on right here.
No,
right now.
I do have. Sahi, here's what we need to do. Next week, I want you to find me the first Black female snowboarder that participated in an Olympics and X Games. That's what I want on the wire next week. Give me
I got you.
something like that.
I got you.
No, sorry, he got me.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, that's
Let's
one
learn
less-
about that person.
Yeah.
Let me get my
yeah,
research shoes on.
absolutely. That'll be more exciting than Sean White retiring to make some money. And I'm sure he's going to open a whole snowboarding school if he hasn't.
We'll
already.
talk about him again. You know, we're not done with Sean White. He's going to do something.
Yeah,
He'll
I mean,
go do
and check
something.
out his. We did not really slander him, but check out his TikTok channel. It's fun. Anyway, check out our stuff in the comments below. Let us know what you want to hear and see. H2G Radio on Facebook will be a starter hub. We'll have the website back up and running. It is currently undergoing its reconstruction as we move from just a podcast to a network of podcasts. If you ever wanted to get involved in podcasting, please let us know. You can either direct message any of us here on the show and it'll get to the right person, or you can let us know in the comments and somebody will reach out. And that's it for the week. We'll be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Sundays, there's new episodes of Andrew and Justin's Actors Breakdown. Keep your eyes out for more shows.
Wait,
Oh,
don't close it. I got a question for you, Justin. Normally,
Okay.
I'm turning this show against it.
uh-oh.
Here's a hypothetical situation just for Justin. Trey and Sahi will do this next week. You get to clone one NFL player and you get 2 copies of them. Who's the player you pick and why?
Oh, my God.
You're allowed to have 2 of any single athlete on an NFL team. Who do you want?
In the sense of I own a team.
No, it's whatever team you want. You don't have to, for instance, you don't have to say TJ Watt and it's the Steelers, but you could say TJ Watt just for your team. So to speak.
Okay.
You're the owner of a team, blank team. You get to have 2
Dang.
of one.
I
person.
want to. I can't have. There's no point in having 2. I want to say Adrian Peterson, but there's no point in having 2 of them on the same team.
There's absolutely no point in having 2 running backs.
I didn't know I had to
Don't
have
do
them on the
this
same
to
team.
yourself.
2 in the same league would be impressive. Just so there would be
2 on
another
the
one.
same team. You can clone one guy. You get 2 of them. Who is it?
God, give me Cooper Cup. Fuck it. I mean,
Okay.
just off the top of my brain, the kid made
Huh?
that last fucking 6 minutes of that game.
Okay.
But that's just the first person because I played Madden State and I Cooper Cup on mini game.
No problem. Ladies and gentlemen, once again proving my point, Justin picked the white
Pick the
guy
white guy.
as his clone
Wow.
target. If you're gonna pick a white guy, at least pick TJ Watt. Come on, man. You could have said Jalen Ramsey, Trent Williams, Aaron Donald.
Anything.
Hell,
Yeah,
you could have
yeah,
said
Aaron
double
Donald.
Josh Allen. I'd be like, all right, Josh Allen, running back and quarterback. Fine. This dude said Cooper Cup. Come on, man. All right, team. You get it back, Justin. You can end
That's
this show
it.
now.
Somebody else
That's all I
close the
needed.
show. I
No,
don't.
that's all I needed.
I
That's
gotta
all
go in
want.
my hidey hole over here.
Just
Trey-
so exposed.
Right.
Hashtag
so
exposed.
Yep. Look me up. Do some digging. Come at me strong. Okay, Trey, close us. Send us home. I'm going home.
All right, it's been real. See you guys next week.
Hey, that's how you close the show. Let's go, Trey.